Good afternoon again, and welcome to Planning and Zoning Commission, February 24, 2025. My name is Sina Nejad. I have the honor of chairing the commission. If you would, please call the roll.
Chairman Najad,
Here.
Commissioner Beatty,
Present.
Commissioner Jabbar,
Present.
Commissioner Jabia is absent. Commissioner Javed,
Here.
Commissioner Linton,
Here.
Commissioner Macon. Here. Commissioner Noyola,
Here.
Commissioner Sinegar,
Here.
alternate Commissioner Sorrell.
Here.
Thank you.
You have received the minutes of the previous meeting of January 27, 2025. I hope that everybody has reviewed it. I would entertain a motion to accept and/or make revisions to it.
I so move.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the minutes of January 27th, and we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
In opposition? The ayes have it. Great. We like to get started with the case PZ 2025-20, please.
Good afternoon. Jason Culbertson requests approval of a replat to part of Lot 3, Block 1, Level Farm subdivision into Tracts 3A and 3B, Block 1, Level Farm subdivision, Beaumont, Jefferson County, Texas. This property is located within the city's ETJ, which is why it's before the Planning Commission today. The intent of the plat is to divide the property into 2 lots for residential use. Staff recommends approval of the request. On your screen, the area outlined in red is under review. So you can see right now it's 1 parcel. Aerial image. And the replat. We sent out 12 property owner notices. We received 3 in favor and 0 in opposition. Favor stating they support the request if used for single-family purposes. I believe we have the applicant present today.
The applicant? Good afternoon, sir. How you doing? I am doing great. How about you?
Good.
Fantastic. Would you please introduce yourself with your name and address for the record?
Yeah, Jason Culbertson, 11610 Ridgecrest, Beaumont, Texas, 77705.
Great. Mr. Culberson, do you have any additional information you'd like to give us?
That's pretty much it. Just replat it for us to move over there.
So you're going to get the piece with the pond, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. And the driveway is going to be a common drive, or the entrance would be common?
Yeah, just the entrance. Yes, sir.
Would be common. Okay, great. That's going to be a nice piece of property, sir.
Thank you.
Great. Any questions for the gentleman? Nope. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to open the floor for public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak for or against this case? None is heard, so we'll close the public comment. We have heard from the staff and also the applicant. I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve PZ 2025-20. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? The ayes have it. Thank you. This closes our Planning Commission part, and the Honorable Mayor would lead us into the joint session with the City Council.
Not until 3:15.
You just have to do something, right?
Actually, it was Susan. I was not watching the clock, but technically the meeting is posted for 3:15. You can start late, but you can't start
But
early.
she's not here anymore.
Susan's right there.
Okay. Mayor, you have any good jokes? I do have several jokes. No, no, okay. Yep, I tried, but when you have attorneys involved, things happens.
All right, Mayor, it's your show.
All right, may we have roll call, please?
Mayor West,
Present?
Mayor Pro Tem Neal,
Present.
Councilmember Durio,
Present.
Councilmember Felshaw is absent, Councilmember Getz, Councilmember Samuel, Councilmember Turner is absent. Thank you.
City council and
This will be your only opportunity to speak up. Commission will make
council, the item today will come before city council. Council meeting. Chairman, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yes, sir. Stony Pettit is requesting a specific use permit to operate an artesian office and shop at 450 Bowie Street. Anderson Artisans is a skilled carpentry business specializing in creating one-of-a-kind wooden pieces. The proposed use of the property as a business office and craftsman shop could aid in economic growth of the downtown area. Although the central business district does not have parking requirements, our city's traffic engineer has reviewed the proposal and has no immediate traffic concerns. Staff recommends approval of this request with the following conditions. Number one, construction plans must meet all requirements by water utilities for water and sanitary sewer services, including any requirements of the city's backflow pretreatment and/or fog program. Number two, construction plans shall comply with all applicable fire and building code requirements. And number three, all operations of the business shall remain in compliance with Article 12.08 of the City of Beaumont's Code of Ordinances. Staff sent 28 property owner notices. We received 6 in favor and 0 in opposition. On the screen, the area outlined in red is under review. Aerial image. The site plan. Floor plan. This is the subject property. Property to the north, to the east, west, and south. And I believe we have the applicant present.
Yes, sir. How you doing? Great. Sure. Michael S. Stoney, Pettit II, P.O. Box 5115, Beaumont, Texas 77726. We're moving the Anderson Homes office into the front of that building. We bought the building with the intent of putting our carpentry business under one roof with the Anderson Homes business. The intent is to show our clients as they come in that we have in-house craftsmen that can build custom architectural features for the homes that we build.
I do have one. What are your hours of operation?
The artisans will be in there from 7:30 to 4.
Okay, thank you.
I guess they do, yes, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Now we open the floor for public comment. Is there anybody that would like to speak for or against this case? None is heard, so we close the public hearing. We heard from the staff and we also heard from the applicant, and I would entertain a motion.
A motion to approve with the 3 conditions?
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? The ayes have it. Thank you. Good luck, sir. We're gonna go to PZ 2025-25.
The property owner, Jaramillo Lucas, is requesting a rezoning of 6690 Rebecca Lane from residential single-family dwelling district to general commercial multiple-family dwelling district or a more restrictive zoning district. This rezone request is in conjunction with continuing his lawn business at this location, which is not permissible currently within the residential single-family dwelling district. This rezoning request could be considered spot zoning and may violate Chapter 211 of the Local Government Code. Additionally, the proposed use is not consistent with the surrounding residential single-family uses. As such, planning staff recommends denial of this request. Staff sent 13 property owner notices. We received 0 in favor and 0 in opposition. The area outlined in red on the screen is the area under review. Aerial image. This is the subject property. View from the rear of the subject property. Subject property continued. Northwest, that's Leffler Park. East, south, and west. And I believe we have the applicant present.
So this is a continuing business that has been here?
So they were operating a lawn business. It was reported to us, so we had to do a zoning investigation, and it revealed that there was a lawn business being operated at this site. And so we cited it, and they filed a rezoning request.
And do you know how long they've been operating there?
I don't.
Can you go back to that picture from the front of the building? Okay. So that's just an office or a residence?
That's a residence.
Okay. All right, good. Any questions for the lady? And the applicant? Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Douglas Greer, attorney here in Beaumont, and with Mr. Ricardo Alvarez, who is the agent of Mr. Jaramillo Lucas, and we're here to present the
All
rezoning
right.
request.
If you would state your address one more time for the record, please.
Yes, it's 2905 Toccoa, Beaumont, Texas, 77703.
Great. All right. We'll love to hear from you, sir.
We appreciate your time, folks.
Sure.
This is we feel like this is not a impermissible spot zoning situation, and I'll explain why. We feel we have some actual small packets we wanted everybody to look at while we're talking about this. It's just essentially some more photos of the area I'll guide you through. I'm going to keep this brief, but we understand this body has viewed this as an impermissible zoning, spot zoning, but we feel that the way that there's three main.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
And what these packets are, folks, it's brief. It's just a bullet point of what I'm about to talk about. It's an affidavit from Mr. Alvarez and some photos we can review. But we feel that there's three main characteristics of this property that differentiate it from a traditional illegal spot zoning. One is the unique placement of the lot involved, and I'll get into that in a second. Number two is the current nature of the Rebecca Lane neighborhood. And number three, the nature in which the business is operated. So as far as the unique placement of the lot, one thing unique about this is that when you walk and drive around the Rebecca Lane neighborhood, you can never see the business itself. If you walk down Rebecca Lane, you never see this business. This business is not visible to the naked eye when you're in the Rebecca Lane neighborhood. It's like it's been pointed out, this business is bordered by a road, Comstock. And again, if you guys will refer to my packet on tab A, there's just a few general maps. But if you look at, let's just say A2. Okay, this business is bordered by a road, Comstock, if you see on the the satellite image here, which is, it has essentially non-residential traffic. The other side, as has been noted, is Leffler Park and undeveloped forest. And that's the only, if you look at the image, if you see on Comstock Road on the left side of Rebecca Lane on this image, there's sort of a dirt path there. That is the ingress and egress for the business going out of Comstock Lane. So the business does not feature traffic in and out of it through this neighborhood. It's on Comstock Lane. And I'll get into that a little bit more in a second. But so it's bordered on the other side by Helbig Road, which features a predominant railroad track running parallel to it. On the other side of Helbig Road, there's one small residence that's pretty far back from the Helbig Road, and it's sort of dilapidated. But otherwise, you have a lot of undeveloped forest. So what you have, we feel that this is a unique situation of the land because it does not impact in any way the Rebecca Lane neighborhood, because you can't even see it from the neighborhood. There's no signage, and if you walk around Doris onto Rebecca, you just never see the place. And secondly, on the other side, predominantly the side where they have ingress and egress, and the other side, it's all pretty much undeveloped, save for Leffler Park. So it's not a traditional spot zoning situation in which you would, I don't know, put a liquor store in the middle of a neighborhood or a convenience store. It doesn't attract people to it, and people don't go to it. This is a business that's designed to take orders and go out and, satisfy the orders for their lawn care business. When they leave the business to go and service their clients, they leave on Comstock. If you refer to this page again, they turn on Comstock onto Helbig because that's the most rational way to get out to the places. So they leave on Comstock, turn on Helbig, and then just go to wherever they're going. If you notice from this map, they never impact the neighborhood. So they're at the far
Forgive me,
tip
sir.
of the neighborhood, and they never impact the neighborhood.
Usually have 3 minutes time to talk, but since I
sorry.
neglected in informing you of that, I would make a motion to give him additional time.
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of the 3 minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll run through this really quick. I'm a lawyer.
All in
but I'll
favor,
try
say
to keep this brief.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, so really the unique placement of the lot. Second is the current nature of the Rebecca Lane neighborhood area. If one walks around the Rebecca Lane area, one sees traces of commercial and industrial activity all around the neighborhood. Turn to tab D really quickly. I took some photos just Saturday riding around this neighborhood. And you see, I'll shorten it up, but you see a lot of instances of commercial dump trucks. You see 2 chicken coop areas. You see you see the railroad track that runs behind the entire neighborhood. You see, for instance, on page D8, you see a tire out in the middle of the bend. My point is there's a lot of commercial and industrial activity that is apparent from the eye, or that looks like commercial industrial activity that is in this area, but the lawn service isn't part of that. The lawn service is not visible from the area. So, let's see, let me just cut it down. Okay, the manner in which the subject business is conducted, I kind of hit on that, but I'm just going to briefly summarize it. The lawn care business doesn't feature walk-in customers. It doesn't have any obtrusive or open signage of the area. Again, if you're walking around the area, you don't even know the business is there. It doesn't serve any customers on site, so there's no overcongestion of the area by customers or any kind of traffic, because there's none. The few people who would engage with the lawn care service on site would enter from Comstock. The services are performed off-site, like I said. So they're not really a commercial establishment that features customers regularly, which is the big problem with a lot of the impermissible spot zoning. You put something in a nice neighborhood and, a lot of customers come and it can introduce vice. It can introduce, over congestion, things like that. These ills aren't present. So,
How many employees you gonna have?
how many employees do you guys have?
At least like 6.
6.
6 employees?
Right.
Sometimes we use 4.
So there's no real impact on the neighborhood from this. And again, it's sort of invisible in the neighborhood. they've been running the business since 2021. They've never had one complaint about noise, about pollution, anything. They're good neighbors. Lefler Park, I mentioned. Lefler Park often features some untoward characters who hang out at the park at night and they leave beer bottles and such. These guys go out and clean it up every day because they don't want their neighborhood like this. So I would suggest, I've submitted some stuff for the record. You guys can look at it in more detail, but in general, they don't have any kind of negative impact on the area. That is usually present in spot zoning situations. They're taxpayers, they pay their taxes, they have a valid license with the Secretary of State. Their business has been operating for 4 years. They haven't had one problem with anybody there. They just like to continue their business, and that's why we're asking for the rezone. There's a lot more detail I can get into, but I appreciate your time. I understand the brief nature of this.
What are the office hours?
What are the office hours?
Or actually between 9 to 4.
9 to 4?
And then, so you have 6 employees, so that's 6 vehicles there also?
No, most of the times they just drive together in a truck that
Can he step to the mic to answer the question so it's properly
Step up to the
recorded?
mic, sir.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, like I said, there's between 9 to 4, and most of the times there's 2 guys in a truck, so there's 2 or 3 trucks, not more than that.
So no loud noises from equipment starting and that kind of stuff?
No, we never start equipment in the property because we have to go.
Okay,
I
thank
would
you.
say there's more loud noises from the train track, which borders
Yes.
everything, and the 2 chicken coops in the neighborhood. Although I'm a country guy, I like roosters in the morning, so there's noise with that.
But it's still in a resident though.
It's still in a residential, but again, I think that's one of the features that differentiates this from permissible spot zoning. It's at the tip of this neighborhood, and the other surrounding area is largely undeveloped. This is sort of out in the sticks, if you can say something that's out in the sticks in the city. It does no harm to the community. It's a good business. It provides, a valuable service to everybody. They pay their taxes. They're good for the tax base.
Mr. Linton?
In Exhibit E, I think
That's
there
true.
were some pictures of
Yes.
tractors. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
his tractors?
That's the
That's
business's
his,
tractors.
the business
yes, sir.
tractors
E is basically a few photos of within the business.
within the
And
business.
again, the business is sort of ensconced in some trees and such. And we wanted to represent to the commission too that if the rezone application is granted, if anyone has a problem, no one's complained about this, but if anybody has a problem with the aesthetics of this specific spot, these are landscaping people. They can they're very well prepared to put shrubbery around or anything, but again, you don't really see the area.
Well, I was looking at the first video, picture was
Yes,
of
sir.
the house, which was on Rebecca.
Yeah.
Was the gated part on Comstock? Because I
Yeah,
saw
the gated part
Rebecca-
that you enter and exit, that's on
This
Comstock.
is
Yes, sir.
Comstock. How far along Comstock? Is it completely enclosed on the Comstock? So if you're coming down Comstock, you see the gate, but is the rest of it visible to the
From-
tracks?
From Comstock, yes, some of it's visible, yes. But from that Rebecca Lane neighborhood, you see this picture right here? You see the gate, of course. On the right is their house. Going down that neighborhood, you never see any of the,
But from there, it goes
it's
all the
visible from
way
Comstock, yes,
to the
sir.
railroad tracks.
Yes,
That's
sir.
the part that's
Yes, sir.
exposed to the neighborhood.
Well,
And I'm
exposed
assuming that
outside.
the issue is gonna, because if I'm not mistaken, I think someone purchased the land across the street looking for a home development in the future, and it's probably gonna be an issue with the exposure. But as for, you said he's been there for 4 years.
He's been there 4 years, there's no issues, and if there's any kind of issue with exposure, they're uniquely qualified to rectify that with their landscaping business. They can put up shrubs, trees, anything they need. It'd beautify the area, And again, they've been in business for 4 years, never had any problems, nobody's ever complained about anything. An inspector gave them a citation in November, and I understand why, but we're here to try to rezone it because they're a benefit to the community, they clean up, they make their community better.
You started 4 years ago with how many people?
Just 2, maybe 3.
So you have grown this business to
Yeah,
what
we-
it is now,
Try
right?
and make it grow a little bit more.
Counselor, if this is rezoned, then if they sell the business, what happens to it?
It doesn't change the zoning.
It does, it stays
Yes, sir. The zoning is with the property, not with the business.
And I will say they've been living in that property since 2015, and they don't plan on going anywhere. And one final thing I'll say is, you know, a lot of times in these spot zoning situations, in addition to a lot of the ills of it, there's a situation where it can attract other businesses because of that business trying to make money. Like, for instance, you have a Casa Soleil and they have a Crazy Jose's moves next to it, or, you know, things like that. This isn't going to attract any other businesses because there's no reason to, you know, settle next to a landscape business.
Can this be rezoned, Counselor, to only landscaping business?
No, sir.
Yeah, so when you change the zoning, you can't really, it's not like a specific use permit where you're offering specific to that use. When you rezone, it's rezoned to, in this case, it would be general commercial.
Any possible restriction that we can put in there, like for the next, if the owner changes, they have to come for a specific use permit? It appears that these guys have the right thing. It took the city of Beaumont 4 years to figure out they're not supposed to be. And they built a business. I'm trying to help them, but I'm also concerned with the neighbors. So if we turn this into commercial and some guy wants to come and put some big industrial shop over there, that's going to be hindering to the neighbors.
But he would be justified in doing so because the property would be general commercial.
Well, Demi, what's the closest commercial property to this?
Looking at this map, nowhere close. It would be further, Hellbig towards Lucas, East Lucas area is probably the closest the commercial zoning district would get to it. I will say, so this request is for a rezone, not a specific use permit. Right now, lawn businesses on our permitted use table, they're not permitted, period, in residential single family. So that's why it can't come before you guys as a specific use permit request. So if we were to do a rezoning, I know one of the things that you had said was that it won't be a liquor store or a convenience store. Well, if it's ever sold 50 years down the road, GCMD, that zoning district could allow for a liquor store or a convenience store. And again, I would caution that this could violate, seeing the zoning map right here, this could violate Chapter 211 and be considered spot zoning. I'm not saying that these reasonings aren't valid or have some validity to them. It's just in looking at the facts, this could be spot zoning, and therefore that's why planning staff cannot support it.
How else can we rezone this to enable them to operate? What other category can we put them in?
What's another alternative?
The closest thing that you could probably entertain is GCMD 2 and require a specific use permit on top of it. However, that's still, if it came back as that, I still would have to recommend denial due to spot zoning on the rezoning portion of it. The other part, you know, we could look at what the impacts of lawn businesses in residential zoning districts could have on neighboring properties and require specific use permits within the RS zoning district. That's something that we could look at if council is interested in that kind of a review. But, you know, I will caution that there is a reason why this case was, why staff was notified of this rezoning or this lawn business occurring out of this property. And so we had to address it, and that's why this request is before you guys.
I do have a question for you.
Councilman, if you would.
Yes, I'd just like to know what type of spot zoning is allowed?
None,
None.
none,
There are no different classifications of spot zoning.
no.
However, if that were to be general commercial, then someone else could come in after he leaves, and it would not be spot zoning because it would be attached to and GCMD.
Yes, sir.
So it could allow it to grow.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We talked about spot, I'm sorry.
My question is, let's say if we do change this, so they can have an office, so they can have a public come in and out, then you cannot, the city cannot stop doing that because it's already zone changed and they can have 10 or 15 customers coming in a day. if
Yeah,
they-
like for example, in GCMD, you could have a apartment complex on that property if it fits the zoning or the setbacks and all the other requirements, but it opens up a lot of uses.
Other business come in.
I think it might be best if we put this on hold or have it rejected and then come back with a GCMD to enable them to operate.
I've got a
I hate to
question.
put them out of their business
Zena.
just because they've
Let me just ask
been
a
here for
question.
4 years.
What was your occupation prior to you having this business? Because you've lived there since 2015. So what were you doing before that? And did you use the property for your business?
See, I'm a builder, man. I'm a builder, and he's my friend. So he do some work for me, and he needs my help. So I try and help him to rezone the land.
Mr. Lucas is in here. This is Ricardo.
I understand. Then whoever can answer that question for me, what's the answer?
Yes.
Can you repeat?
Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
If he has lived there since 2015, what was his occupation? And what did he use the 1.0 acres for
This what he
before
used.
this?
That's what he's been doing. Just cutting yards and try and put some like little plants in the land, and that's it.
He's
He
been
don't
in
have
lawn
much.
care
No.
for a long time before this.
So he was doing lawn care since 2015 from this place.
Yes.
Well, the business started in 2021, though, the Lucas Lawn Care, right?
Yeah, Lucas.
I understand the business started, but what was he doing?
Was he doing that?
Mowing
kind of work?
yards and stuff from there too?
He
All
used
right,
to be doing that kind of work
let
for
me
somebody.
see what the attorney says.
We'll need to get the speaker. We were under the impression that he was the applicant. We'll need to get the speaker to state his name and address for the record so it can be properly recorded.
Yes, sir. Please state your name and address for the
My
record.
name is Ricardo Alvarez, and I live 3012 Glenwood Street,
Thank you.
7705.
And you are representing the.
Mr. Lucas, yes, sir. I'm a builder.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank
You
you.
listed him as the agent on that.
I understand. Thank you. Councilman, you had something to say?
Yes, I'd like to ask our attorney, what is a legal spot zone?
Illegal or legal? We don't recognize spot zoning.
Exactly. And is there a reason why?
Well, that'd be a question for our director, but just because of that, it creates different zones inside. So let's just say, and Demi, you jump in whenever you feel comfortable, but if you have a business in the middle of a residential property, it essentially changes the structure of that neighborhood. Another business can come in and buy, if they chose to, buy that land, and it essentially spreads out. One of the questions was, what's the next closest residential property, because that would allow it to not be spot zoning. But if you look at the triangle, if that becomes commercial, then any of the other opportunities around it that touches it could also extend to be commercial as well. If the idea is for council to keep that as a residential neighborhood, you would be hard pressed to keep businesses out because now they have a contingent other commercial property which they could connect to build for commercial use.
And it affects the value of the property, doesn't it?
That'd be a question for our planners.
Essentially. I will also add that this is considered a stable area on our comprehensive plan. So as it's already developed as a residential single-family structure, it is consistent with the existing surrounding uses and also compatible with our comprehensive plan to rezone it to general commercial, multiple family dwelling district. That would not be compatible to our comprehensive plan. So it would go against the plans we have in place.
And if I'm correct, there's development, residential development, a couple of blocks down from this. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Now to understand that you don't live in this property, it's someone else's property.
Mr. Lucas lives in the property, Jaramillo Lucas.
And Mr. Lucas owns the business.
Correct.
and he has nothing to do with either one
He
of them.
works with him and he's his confidant and he represents him in matters. Yes.
So how long has Mr. Lucas been in the landscaping business?
He used to start like, he started like he said, like 4 years ago, he used to be work for somebody else.
This specific Lucas Landscaping has been in place since 2021, but he's been doing long work for people for a while.
So the business been in for 4 years, but you've been in, well, this is not your house either. So you know, the 2015 for the house is not even involved with you.
No, sir.
But they've been living in the house since.
Apparently, the gentleman who lives there has been doing landscaping since he's been there,
Okay.
right? Okay. All right, we're not getting anywhere, sir. Here's what I propose. I think we should go ahead and deny this and have him come back with GCMD 2. That might be more palatable, because then the next applicant would have to have a specific use permit, and we can at least protect the neighborhood that way. Is that correct, Counselor? I don't want to steer him wrong.
So you have two options. You can deny it, but they don't have to reapply. There's some different,
So we can table it?
there's a different due process if they choose to do a different route. You can table it and ask for additional information or reconsideration. But again, they don't have to reapply for anything different. So if you table it, you generally table it from additional information from staff. If there's something else that you want staff to do or staff to consider. But if you deny it, they don't have to come back before
Well,
planning
the
commission.
staff has already properly done their work. The staff has, can they change their mind and come back with some other request with the GCMD 2?
They can. So again, if you deny it, this isn't their last step. Council still has the final authority to say how they want to move forward. So it would have to go before council for full authority, and then after that, they have some options on how they want to appeal or reapply. So that would be up to the applicant.
So Counselor, if we deny today, it's still going to go before city council, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, but then it's going to get more difficult. You were going to say something?
Yes, sir. If we were to deny today, then the applicant would have to wait 1 year. That's in the planning commission bylaws. They'll have to wait 1 year till they can reapply for a rezoning request.
All right, I'll make a motion to table this until further information from the applicant and advisement with the city attorney and the staff. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any in opposition? The ayes have it. You guys get your thing together, come back.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time, guys.
That's probably can't speak English, that's probably why. I mean, he should have said that. He should have said, hey, I'm his translator. All right, well, folks, thank you very much for the entertainment. I enjoyed it. Mr. Mayor? Thank you, sir. I can't understand why the goddamn city took 4 years to figure this shit out.
Sounds to me like he's been doing it a long time.